Alright guys, it's going to be a crazy week. So I decided to make a quick video on Monday to kind of set the stage of what's going to happen, what might happen. First of all, Peyton Manning, go to Houston. Easy division. Let them handle Schaub however they can handle them by trading them or whatever. You can be in the playoffs every year over your last few years with home field advantage in a dome stadium with one of the best, if not the best receiver in the league, with one of the best, if not the best running backs in the league, with one of the best, if not the best defense in the league. Peyton Manning, go to Houston. Might work with Tennessee also, but if Tennessee, you got to go against Houston. So, all right. With us, free agency, we have a lot of holes. We have a lot of holes to fill. And I'm going to warn everyone out there, sports writers all across the land are going to predict us to be in 4th place in the NFC East. I see it already. They're not going to pick us up ahead of the Giants and the Eagles for obvious reasons. And with Washington, going to look at the fact that we did sweep them, but barely, with them having Rex Grossman. And right now, RG3 is a better quarterback than Rex Grossman. Right now, out the box. Now, will RG3 bust? Of course he could bust. He's a rookie. Of course that could happen. But a lot of people are going to look at what Cam Newton did last year. The fact that RG3 is not a Jamarcus Russell ignorant little dummy. He's a scholar. He's a smart kid. He's, you know, of military background. He is going to give his all to that position, and he's going to some people that kind of know what they're talking about with the Shanahans. So they're going to look at all that, and then if they have more cap room than us, if they get someone like a Vincent Jackson or someone like that that's going to just add to whatever they've done, a lot of people are going to put us in last place. So we need to be mentally prepared for that. And we need to do some things right now in free agency that will bolster our team and make sure that doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we can fill holes. Number one hole, well, not number one hole. The first hole I'm going to cover is the backup quarterback. Kitna's gone. We do need a backup quarterback that we can depend on in the playoffs or in crunch time at the end of the season. I don't think we can with Stephen McGee. I like McGee, but I'm not ready to say, oh, if we need this win on week 15 and Tony Romo's got a messed up elbow, we need someone that can go in and possibly win the game. The only people out there, I don't like them. I don't like many of the people out there. So I think we should stand pat on quarterback right now and wait till like the June 1st cuts when the veterans come out and see if there's any kind of veteran that's being cut. No, Schaub's too much. But see if there's a veteran that's going to be cut that's going to will fit the bill. Right now, the only people with that much experience is Shaun Hill. Shaun Hill's he's a decent quarterback. I think he could possibly get the job done if he was put there. Kyle Orton is a great, not a great quarterback, but he's a very good quarterback, a very good quarterback. But I think he'll be a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? There's too much money for us to spend on a backup quarterback right now with all the other needs on the team. Dennis Dixon is somebody I like, but I don't know if he's ready for prime time yet. But every time I've seen him play, he's done very well, and he is elusive like Tony Romo is out the pocket, and which you're going to have to be with the Dallas Cowboys. So I don't really think David Garrard or Jason Campbell or any of those guys are going to be a very good fit, just because they're going to have to deal with a lot of pressure coming from, you know, the middle of the offensive line. And lastly, hey, VY. A lot of you people were asking for VY last year. He's mobile. He may be able to be plugged in there at the in a game that we need toward the end of the season. I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, but maybe you are. Running back, hold off, wait. We did good. We're doing good with Felix and DeMarco, but both of them are injury prone, which really worries me about them both. So we need a third guy that we do trust. But I do trust Jason Garrett's running schemes. We had Sammy Morris in the last year at the end of the season. Sammy Morris is, I think, older than me, maybe as old as me. Oh, he's old, you know, but he was out there getting nice runs through, you know, Jason Garrett's team. So I like Jason Garrett's running schemes. So anybody that we can plug in there, I'm gonna feel okay with, you know, even if we go get Tanner and all those guys, I feel okay with. So I'm okay with running back. Wide receiver, I want to hold off on Warren Robertson because he's been in the league a lot. There's nothing really super special about him. He's been in the big league a long time, and he finally got a break to play, and he got a great quarterback throwing him the football that's gonna, you know, that's gonna be very accurate. So all he had to do was catch the ball, and he did what he's supposed to do. That just shows these young receivers on the team, all you got to do is be where you're supposed to be and catch the ball, and you're going to produce in Jason Garrett's offense. It's obvious. So right now, if he gets a lot of money somewhere else, just good for Laurent Robinson for coming back, doing what he's supposed to do, catching the football and going. Teach Miles how to catch every time like that. But he did what he was supposed to do. Now we need someone to fill in that's going to be a slot receiver, but can play one or play the two if Miles gets hurt or the Dez something whatever may happen to our starting two receivers. We need one guy that can plug in. Laurent did a very good job of that last year, but we need somebody that can do that job a little bit cheaper than what he probably will warrant in free agency. Offensive line, Carl Nicks. How do you not get Carl Nicks if you can? He's one of the best offensive linemen of all time. Somebody said how good is he compared to Larry Allen. Oh, he's nothing compared to Larry Allen. Larry Allen was probably the greatest offensive lineman, period, ever. So he's not that good, but he is probably the best in the game right now, or one of the best in the game right now. So if you have a chance to get him, you got to get him because he's still young. Ben Grubb's also a very good offensive guard. Someone that's that's young also that we could get hopefully for a good price. Steve Hutchinson got cut. I'm kind of conflicted here because he's so old, but Hutch is very good. So he could, you know, stifle the progression of the young guys, you know, if we get him. But Hutch is good. Hutch is good. So if we can get him for cheap, man, hey, let's do it. Evan Mathis, I think Philadelphia is going to do everything they can to bring him back. He had an excellent season last year, so that's probably out of the question. Jacob Bell could be a backup plan if the Rams end up getting Carl Nicks, because then throwing a whole bunch of money at him. So if the Rams get Nicks, then we can slide in there hopefully and get Jacob Bell. Or we have a problem at center. I hear they're going to try Arkin at center maybe, but you got Samson Satili and you got Chris Myers from Houston that could possibly fill in for the job, and they're fairly young also. Defensive line, my #1 guy just got signed as I was making this video. Sione Bua. I wanted him bad, going in the middle of the defense. Just plug him right there in the middle, put Rat on the end. Man, that would have been, but now he got signed this morning by the Jets. Also, Paul Salai. I don't know. I can't see Miami letting this guy go, man. He's a run-stopping force. You know what I'm saying? He's power and he's active for that power. So I don't see how they're gonna let him go. But he's now moved into my #1 spot with defensive line. Third is Jason Jones for Tennessee. He plays the tackle for Tennessee in the 4-3, but he can play a 3-4 end. So I'm really interested in that guy. He can get some pressure on the quarterback there also. Not as much pressure as Mario can, but I think he'll be better at defensive end than Mario on a 3-4. Mario. I cooled on Mario big time just because he's going to be costly. People like the Chargers, the Seahawks, teams are going to throw like mad money in him. And with our team, does he really have a position since we franchise Anthony Spencer? You know, Spencer's not. I mean, we can do 4-3, but Spencer's not really a 4-3 linebacker. Spencer's a 3-4 linebacker, and we can't put Mario at defensive end because it curbs his production. Bruce Smith was talking about that. Bruce Smith he was an undersized defensive end in a 3-4, and he had to fight double teams much more than he should have. So he had to fight off double teams almost on every play, and people say that his sack total that was crazy was probably almost cut in half simply because he played in a 3-4 instead of a 4-3. That the scheme held him back, and that's what I think with Mario. Because Mario, he's a specialist. I mean, you look at his numbers, and when you look at Spencer's tackles or whatever, he makes a lot more tackles. Maybe it's because they were different positions, but Spencer's a lot more active when it comes to bringing people to the ground than Mario was. But Mario was a guy who got to the quarterback, and if you're going to have a guy like that, guy like Mario on your team, you make sure you have him in the best position to attack the quarterback at all times. At all times. But what that does do to us is we're already undersized at nose tackle, then we'll be undersized at defensive end, and teams with a big offensive line and a big running back can just run on that side and just plow and plow and plow and plow and plow, and that's what I don't want. That's why I want these big guys. Another guy that I really like is Red Bryant. He's a Texas guy. He's not going to get that much pressure on the quarterback. Boy, is he big and strong. You know what I'm saying? To put there at the end. And then you got Louis Castillo and you got Kendall Langford. Both of those guys. Langford's not that old. Castillo's a little bit older. Both will get a little pressure on the quarterback. You will see some pressure coming from that end on them, and they're big and strong enough to hold on to those double team or take double teams and free up linebackers and Sean Lee and Spencer and things of that sort. So there's some good stuff out there with defensive line, so I'm thinking we're gonna do some good stuff there. Linebacker, don't care. We're doing good there, I hope. Last is cornerback. Now I'm all in on Brandon Carr for a decent price. Do not give Brandon Carr starter money. Scandrick is making starter money. Do not give starter money to Brandon Carr. If that's gonna, if it gets to that point, we're just gonna have to get somebody out the draft, because we can't be paying money like that out there on the secondary. Cortland Finnegan. Cortland is going to cost a lot of money also, and I see him probably going somewhere like the Rams or maybe even Washington. I see him as a knucklehead on that Washington team. And then I put next after Cortland Finnegan, I'm saying T-New, because I mean really Cortland is an upgrade over T-New. I will say that. Carr may be a upgrade over T-New. I'm not sure. Carr was a 2, you know, over there in Kansas City. So he probably is a slight upgrade over T-New. But Tracy Porter, I'm not sure he is. I'm not sure he is. And you guys got to understand, those corners in Dallas, they're on islands in Rob Ryan's scheme. They're not protected like they are in other schemes. And, you know, like the New York Giants, where they just send 4 and send everybody and keep everybody else back, or safeties over the top. The safeties are blitzing, because Rob Ryan doesn't blitz always with the linebackers here. He throws a safety, a free safety, a strong safety here. He throws a lot of stuff at you, so that leaves the cornerbacks in bad positions, you know what I'm saying, to get beat. And T-New, he got smoked a few times last year, lost his confidence, and he never could get it back. But I don't think there's many guys out there. The Tracy Porters, Carlos Rogers, Marcus Trufant. If you interchange one of those guys with T-New, I think you get just about the same thing, maybe a little worse. I'm not sure. I didn't like Carlos Rogers at Washington. He did good at San Francisco, but that was mainly because of that front 7 in San Francisco. And Trufant, I've never been a fan of. So there's my thing. There's my free agent wrap up. I'll be on my Facebook. I will be on my Facebook all throughout this free agency thing, and whenever something happens, I will post something there. I will stay there. I can't stay on Facebook for long periods of time, but through this time, free agency, I will be on Facebook, all right? Holla. Peace.